What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Corey Michelle. Thanks for tuning back in. Today we're talking about radical acceptance, what it is, what it isn't, and how you might be applying it in your life. And I have the personal belief that we operate from two basic functions, either empowerment or victim mentality, fear, lack, that kind of thing. Lots of people on the struggle bus. Then there's also this rising up of super empowered women and men who are pretty much claiming the throne. The kingdom of heaven is within, and that is what I want to help you to understand today about radical acceptance. First off, let's start by talking a little bit about what radical acceptance is not, and then we'll get into what it is. We'll do that a couple times back and forth. Radical acceptance is not allowing yourself to be treated like a doormat because you just accept. That's how that person is. That's just my situation. That's just my circumstance. I don't really have a choice. I don't really have any other options. No, my friend, not true. What radical acceptance is holding firm to your standards and releasing what no longer fits in that picture. You also have this set of standards for yourself already. The problem is that most people are not adhering to these standards and they're allowing themselves to be walked all over and then complaining that certain situations happen in their lives. Radical acceptance means, here are my standards, here's what I stand for, here are my boundaries, and anything that doesn't fit inside of this no longer gets access to my energy, no longer has a place in my life. And that is the first example that I'm going to use today. Secondly, going back into the first one a little bit because I get carried away, radical acceptance is not just settling for the way it is. The way it is the way it is. Of course, accepting is the first step in the road to recovery. I am an ex-addict and I find the 12-step program completely useful in every aspect of life. Whether you're an addict or not, we're all addicted to something. Please, okay? Coffee, sugar, working out, drama, healing. We're all addicted to something. Admitting that you have a problem is the first step. So accepting that something is the way it is and not doing anything about it is not radical acceptance. Instead, radical acceptance in this situation is taking notice of what is, aka acknowledging that there's a problem, and recognizing that you are magnetizing it in your life in some way. A lot of people will say that this is some type of spiritual bypassing, and I say you are acting like a victim. I don't care if that hurts anybody's feelings or not. It's the truth, and that's what I'm here to do, is to speak the truth. I see the world from a lot of different perspectives. I allow every bias to have a voice. I really like to help people have a voice, but I'll be damned if I'm gonna sit there and help you rationalize or justify what you're allowing into your reality to control you. The next thing that radical acceptance is not is blaming your circumstances or what has happened to you in the past for the person that you have become. We all know those people who will live out their entire lives with the story that because this happened to me, I'm this way now. They might say something along the lines of, it is what it is, I just accept it, that happened to me, and now I'm a grumpy old bitch. The problem is, that is also not radical acceptance. That is just like all the other ones, being a doormat, accepting what is, and not taking any type of ownership in that situation. What radical acceptance is taking full responsibility for the person who you are being in the world. Yes, terrible things might have happened to you in your life. Terrible things happen to everybody. That's how we grow. That's how we become the people that we are. And there's a difference between people who are empowered by their story and people who allow their story to be who they became, instead of allowing that story to empower who they're being. The last thing that radical acceptance is not is believing what you see is what you get, in comparison to knowing what you see as a projection of what's currently activated in your field. Again, with the spiritual bypassing. People will say all the time, well, there's no proof that this is happening to us. Yes, there is. I am not an airy-fairy, fluffy-duffy type of spiritual person. I like facts. I love facts. In fact, I would not even believe in half of the things I believe in if they were not backed up. And that's just how I am. Lucky for me, a lot of the esoteric things that I believe in are backed up by quantum physics and string theory and lots of other experiments that people have done over the years that show us information that the ancients had it right. And it's a part of my job to bring this knowledge forward in a way that our generation and the generations to come can understand and have valuable use for it in today's reality. So what do you do with this information? How do you actually practice radical acceptance in your life? Almost every time I want to go ahead and blame something on someone else or anything in the actual physical reality, I take a step back and I recognize that anything I'm experiencing in my life is a projection of the energy that I'm putting off, the energy that I'm emitting, the frequency that I'm holding, the vibration of my being. So what I do is I take a step back and I say thank you so much for showing me what's active in my vibration right now. That act alone is enough to help you to get into gratitude, to get into a state of allowance, to get into a state of acceptance for what is without giving your power away to the three-dimensional world. Once you come into this acceptance and you're no longer in resistance around what's actually happening in your world, in your physical world, there's nothing to bump up against and your desires can flow easily in your life. I will be making a video about resistance, probably my next video. If you guys have anything that you want to hear me talk about or just get a new perspective on, let me know in the comments. What are your main struggles with like your mindset, with your spiritual practice, with your relationships, with your relationship to money, any of those things? I would love to hear from you. Please comment what your biggest takeaway from this video is, and I will definitely answer your comments. I love. I didn't realize that I would love having conversations in the comments of YouTube so much, but I really do. So please feel free to leave me any feedback you have or any requests, and also just what resonates for you and what you can take away from this video. I know that that was a lot of call to actions, but it is what it is. See what I did there? Okay, make sure that you're subscribed to my channel if you want to. If you don't want to and you've stuck around this long, what are you doing? Also, go ahead and like this video, share it with your friends if you'd like to. You might have noticed that I switched my upload schedule from Monday to Wednesday, so every Wednesday at 9 a.m. I will be releasing a new video, and the Mondays just didn't really work with me very well being on Sunday. I'm gonna try and start doing bulk uploading or bulk filming and bulk editing, and if you guys would like to see any of that kind of stuff, just let me know. The more technical side of stuff, I love teaching about business, I love teaching about mindset, and I love just offering different perspectives that maybe you haven't heard before, or maybe you've heard some of the stuff that I've said and it was just in a different way. So hearing things a bunch of different ways and a bunch of different times, it will all register in different ways. So it's really great to find out as much information as you can about these topics, that way that you can get a really deep understanding for all of these things that are actually running your program. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
Lights are out, system down, and trying to pay rent. I gotta work it out, but it